it, I could be at the top of the mountain in less than a minute. I figured it was a couple of miles in all. That's a considerable distance, rather large. She could never do it in a minute, and I knew it. I said, I'll take your bet. I know you're gonna lose it. Aisha gave me binoculars and a stopwatch. She said, start the watch and watch for me at the top. And then she jogged off, not even that fast, and disappeared among the trees along the path. You know she's so quick, yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked. You know she's so quick, yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked. So 50 seconds later, I used the binoculars to see to the top of the mountain. Oh, what? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was so shocked I almost stopped breathing. Cause at the top with a full 10 seconds to spare was Aisha, smiling with her hands in the air. Then she came back down, hardly out of breath. I gave her $20, I had lost the bet. But I was concerned, worried about this girl. Was she some kind of alien from another world? It wasn't losing the money that made me frown. It was this girl tricking me, and I didn't know how. I thought about requesting and asking for help, but I was pretty smart. I could solve the case myself. I thought about the whole thing beginning to end and tried to keep my mind flexible, able to bend. I mean, able to change. It's true this was strange, but strange is my middle name. I had to focus my mind on this one thing and concentrate. She couldn't have been running because I studied the math. If it was accurate and exact, Aisha had been 5 miles on the path. Then I calculated. I did the math. She ran 300 miles an hour. That's crazy fast. You know she's so quick. Yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked. You know she's so quick. Yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked. I thought back about all the facts, but I couldn't figure out how she had run that fast. Then I saw a bluebird, which is kind of awesome because I don't see them frequently or very often. And then I walked back down the mountain. Sad that I couldn't figure it out when I saw the bluebird again. Or maybe it was another. They looked the same, but it could have been his brother. And then I had it. I mean, I knew exactly. I had figured it out, concluded what happened. One person could never be that fast. One person could never be that fast. I found out where Aisha lived and drove over. Smiling to myself, I was happier than Grover. I knocked, said, may I come in? The door opened. It was Aisha and her identical twin. You know she's so quick. Yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked. You know she's so quick. Yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked. You know she's so quick. Yeah, she's so quick. Either that or I just got tricked.
Okay, so let's just do 3 quick vocab cards. So accurate, and there is not a picture for this. On your whiteboard, I want you to draw a picture of what you visualize or think of when you hear the word accurate. And accurate means without errors. Accurate. Go ahead.
My marker ran out of ink, so I can't really draw it.
You can do it on your. You can do it in your notebook. Alden, you can do it in your notebook. All right, hold up your whiteboard in about 10 seconds. Hold up your whiteboard in about 10 seconds. Ready? Oh, and I'm going to turn on this light. And up. Let's see what you got. Let's see. Juan, what'd you draw?
I drew a paper getting all the answers correct.
He drew a paper getting all of the answers correct. Fantastic. Let's hear what you drew, Kendrick.
I drew like that in like a spelling bee. Like he had to draw a word, but he got it wrong by a bit, so it wasn't accurate.
Good. So he wasn't able to spell the word accurately. Fantastic. All right, erase your board. And get ready for your next one. Your word is calculate. Go. Give me a great visual of what you think of when you think of calculate. And it is to find the answer using math. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to use your calculator. It means you are going to calculate and find the answer. What do you picture in your mind when you hear this word? Give you about 30 seconds to draw your picture. Good. All my friends online, you're doing a fantastic job of drawing your picture. Thinking of that word calculate. Hold it. You got like 10 seconds. Hold it up when you are ready. 10 seconds if you're not. And up. Hold it up. Let's see. Talia, what'd you do? You were working out a problem to calculate the answer. Fantastic. Someone in Miss Caldwell's class, what did you draw?
I had Alana draw a picture of a girl and she was doing math in her head.
She was calculating the answer in her head. Fantastic. Let's hear one more from one of my friends online. Lily, what did you draw?
I drew someone in the class spelling bee working out a question.
Working on a question to calculate the answer. Well done. Erase your board. My friends, this is our last one for the day. Concentrate. I want you to show me a time by drawing where you've done a really good job of concentrating on something, when you've been really focused. Concentrate. To focus all of one's thoughts or efforts. Go ahead. You've got about 30 seconds to draw this. And you guys need more time?
No.
Up. Hold it up. Let's see. Brayden, what'd you draw?
Me trying to concentrate on a test.
Perfect. You trying to concentrate on a test. Fantastic. Gianna, what did you sketch? What did you think of a time when you were concentrating very, very well?
When I was reading.
When you were reading, you need it quiet. You need to be able to concentrate and focus. Fantastic. Last one, Sebastian. You've got yours held up. Let's hear. What did you draw?
The time when I first got my basketball hoop, I was focusing.
You were focusing on making those baskets and concentrating really hard. Well done, my friend. Erase your whiteboard. My friends in the classroom, you can just put your whiteboard to the side. My friends at home as well. You're going to need your reader's notebook, and you need to turn to the next totally free page. And raise your hand if you are familiar with a KWL chart. Raise your hand, my friends at home and at school, and if you are familiar with a KWL chart. It's what you know,
Oh yeah.
what you want to know, and what you've learned. All of you should have your hands up because we've done it with a lot of our science things this year.
Yeah, no.
We did it with the rocks and minerals. You did it with the moon phases. Yeah. And we're actually going to do one here today. So if you could draw this, it can go all the way down the page. And in the first column, it's going to be the know, which is what you already know. Braden, you getting this down? The wants to know, or I call it wonder. That's like what you're curious about.
I'm running out of space for the 3 sections.
Right now, this is what you're doing. We're not talking about that right now. So you're on the next totally free page. And this is what you learned. So if you could please draw your 3 columns right now. Keep it neat. Give yourself enough space. And write those 3 words for me. Yes. Can you what? Yes, you can put it sideways. That's fine. And today we're going to talk about our schema, which is our background knowledge, and how we use our schema to help us understand a nonfiction text. You're going to be using your background knowledge to prepare to read a new book that we're going to be reading. And this is a really cool book. I can't wait to show you guys. Can you put your pencil up in the air once you have what I have? Remember, you do not need to write the essential question, just the chart. My friends at home, can you guys put your pencil in the air? Awesome. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Layla and Thais. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the book that we're going to be reading. Now, I have some bad news for my friends online. This book is not online. Like the oceanography and the Wright Brothers book, how I've been able to show it to you online. It's not online. So what I'm going to have to do is I am going to have to put it up on my screen. And you're going to have to just look on my screen the best you can. I do apologize for that. Okay? So we're going to do the best that we can. And we're going to preview the book first. Does anyone know what the word preview means? Brian, what does the word preview mean?
You're gonna what you think is gonna happen.
That's predicting. You're thinking making a prediction. When we preview a book, can you guys see me now? Yes. When you preview a book, what do you think, Talia? Yes, you scan over it. You kind of look at the pictures and maybe the chapter titles. You're not fully reading it. You're just kind of doing a little preview to see if you actually want to read it. Have you guys ever seen a movie preview? Raise your hand if you've ever seen a movie preview where it shows, like, they call it the trailer. Raise your hand at home, my friends. What does a movie preview show you or do, Alden? What does a movie preview show you?
It shows you a sneak peek about the movie on what it's all about.
Fantastic. It's like a sneak peek, and it usually shows you like the really good parts and the action parts. And does it tell you the end? Shake your head yes or no. No, it shouldn't. Hopefully it doesn't, because their goal is to get you to come and see the movie. So when we preview a book, that's the same thing that we're doing. We're looking through it to see, will it interest us? Is it on my reading level? Do I enjoy the topic? Do the pictures and the chapters look interesting? So that's what we're going to do today. And then we're going to start our KWL chart. So while I'm getting settled, I actually want you to start the know part. This book is called Just a Second. And what it's about is, I'm going to read you the author's note. So, award-winning author and illustrator Steve Jenkins has created a thought-provoking nonfiction reference text, so it's going to be all informational, providing readers with unique ways to look at time. The author's signature paper collages enhance the fact-filled text as the reader discovers some unique ways to think about time. So this is going to be all about time. So think about just a second. Is a second an example of time? Yes, it is. So what I want you to do on your KWL chart is I want you to, I don't know why this isn't working, but I want you to give me two things that you already know about time. Could be telling time, could be something that has to do or is related to time. And you're going to write that on the know part in your KWL chart. Yes, Alden.
I'd rather put time above the KWL chart so you know what you're writing about.
You can definitely do that. We can put the title in a little bit for sure. So give me two things you already know about time. You should know a ton. You should be able to think of more than two things that you know about time, but and you can even go into a little more detail. What do you know about seconds? Because this book says just a second, which I'm sure you've heard your parents say to you before. I'm sure you've heard me say it to you before. Yeah, so hold on just a second. Good, you've got like 30 more seconds to tell. Well, you should have like less than 30 seconds to tell me two things you already know. And I'm going to we'll share in just a second. All right, let's do a rapid fire. Axel, something you know about time. Time it's related to numbers. Very good. So that would be like numerical data. Someone in Miss Caldwell's class, what did you write down?
Time helps me to remember when to do things.
Oh, how to do things. Like you got to go somewhere. You've got to be on time. You've got to look at your clock or your watch. Fantastic. Logan, what's something that you wrote down on your KWL chart for the know about time?
I said that.
Is here. Keep going.
Okay. I said like. I don't really understand how to say my sentence because it doesn't really make sense.
What's something that you know about time? Like how many minutes are in an hour?
I know there's like an hour.
Yes.
In my football games all the time.
Perfect. So you know that's like 60 minutes. So I'm going to jot down a few. If you would like to add these to your list, I would love that. So is a second a really long amount of time or a really short amount of time, everybody? Short. So seconds, very short. A second is very short. You're going to see how long a second is in just a minute. What about 60 minutes? We said Logan said 60 minutes equals good 1 hour. 60 minutes is 1 hour. Very good. Some other facts. We know that there are how many hours in a day? Everybody, 24 hours in a day. And then this is another example, even though it doesn't feel like time. How many months are in a year? My friends at home, say it with me. How many months are in a year?
12.
Wow, very good. So that's still time, right? Days, weeks, months, that's all time. And years, you're right. So those are just some other things that we already know. Okay. You can get those jotted down, and then I'm going to have to take my screen off so I can pull up the book. My friends at home, you're just going to have to look and listen the best that you can, okay? I'm going to have to put it up on my smart board. I'll turn off the lights so you guys can see. We'll make it work as best we can. Okay. Addison, will you turn the lights off for me? Okay. So can you guys see that? Is that better? No, that's not better. All
I
right, and I'm
can't
gonna
really see anything because that's the circulation light that's in the way. It makes the whole thing lighter. So I
So-
can't really see.
I know. I'm so sorry. You guys are just going to have to kind of listen with me, and I will show you the pictures when you come in on Monday. I might even try to show.
My Xbox?
I might even try to take
Is it
pictures
on?
of the screen.
Just in
So
case the power goes
when we preview,
Very good.
I need make sure you're on mute, Miss Coswell. Will you mute my friend that's talking? Thanks. So when we preview, we look at the table of contents. We do an overview of the book. We're just glancing at everything. When we skim, we're actually reading text to get the gist or basic overall idea. So we're looking at the headings, the captions, and the labels. We're just skimming over some of the words. And then when we scan, we read a text to look for specific information. So we're scanning the pictures, we're scanning the maps, we're scanning the diagrams. So when you're previewing, you're just looking at maybe the front cover, the table of contents, and the title. When we're skimming, we're looking at heading, captions, and labels. And when we're scanning, we're looking at photographs, maps, diagrams, and other pictures. So we're going to preview our book real quick. It's called Just a Second. And my friends that are at home, I'm going to talk us through so you know what we see. Does this look like a normal nonfiction book? No. We've got pictures and labels. We've got different animals.
Reminds me of Brown Bear.
You've got,
It looks like that fun spider book.
Right. So each page is like that. Your little label is at the top. It says in 1 second. And then the next page says, well, there's more in 1 second. And then it goes to in 1 minute. And you've got a brief description and then more pictures with little captions next to them. And those captions are going to have facts. And then we've got in 1 hour. So this book seems pretty interesting to me because I feel like I'm going to learn a lot about things that happen in a second, a minute, an hour, a day. And are you noticing that most of the pictures are animal related? Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a lot about our environment or nature. So this, and I really like the front cover. I just think it pops out to me. So this is a book that once I've previewed it, I realized I definitely want to keep reading this book. So we are going to. Oh, am I sharing my screen still? No.
Yeah.
I am. Okay, let me stop my screen share so you guys can see it a little bit better. My apologies for my friends at home. So this is a book that I'm going to read. So now I want you to go back to the wonder portion, and I want you to give me 2 things that you are wondering after previewing this book, or things you are wondering or are hoping to learn about time in this book. And then I promise, guys, I'll make sure to stop my screen share once we look at the book, okay? So you can just see my screen. So right now you are writing down 2 things that you are curious about, that you want to know more about. I would love for this to be in the form of a question. And what do we put at the end of a question, everybody? A question mark. Very good.
Sometimes I mistake a question mark for a quotation mark.
Good. So be ready to share. You've got about 40 seconds. Layla, you writing down your 2 wonders? I see Henry's writing his down. Valerie's writing hers down. Bryson, are you getting your 2 wonders down on your KWL chart? Fantastic. Good, Alexis. Good. And Aiden P, make sure you turn on your camera once you get settled. Good, Lily and Natalie and Thais. All right, raise your hand if you would like to share one of the things you are curious about. Jordan, what are you wondering about time in this book?
How fast are snails?
Ah!
I don't know how fast they really are.
You saw a snail on there and you want to know how fast in time, in relation to time, the snail is. Very good. Talia, what did you say? You had something, how long it takes a snail to get across the street. Let's hear from someone at home. Raise your hand. Natalie, what did you write down? Good, Talia. Natalie, go ahead. Good.
I wrote down that I wonder why they were like, you know how I said a second and a minute and an hour on the top on the page, and there were animals. I said I wonder if this book is telling how fast the animals can run or go.
Ooh, very good. I wonder the same thing. We're going to have to read to find out. Ooh, Valerie, what is something that you are curious or wondering? How fast can the spider go? Is that what you said? Okay, good. And then one more friend in Miss Caldwell's class.
Akaya says she wants to know how time was made.
How high what?
How time was made.
Ooh, Akaya, I love that one. I want to know that too. Does anyone know how time was made? That's a fantastic question. Good. So I'm just going to write down one. I wonder what can be done in a second, a minute, and an hour, and a year. Can you just add that to the bottom? That'll be your 3rd bullet. And Akaya, I loved your question. Time, how was it made? You don't have to add that, but you can. How was time made? Good. Brayden, you getting all this last one down. You have your wonders. Good. You got your 2, and then you're putting your 3rd one, which was the one that I have. And you're going to feel what a second actually feels like. Okay. So I'm going to put my stopwatch on, and when I say time's up, you're going to put your pencil up. I'll give you because we're going to just feel what a second feels like, and then we're going to start to read the introduction to our book. Are you ready? When I say pencils up, that means that's been a second. On your mark, get set, go. Up! That was 1 second. I actually went over. You want to feel what a second is like one more time? Yeah. My friends at home, ready? Put it down. Ready, go. Up! So it's quick. Do you want to read about some things that happen in 1 second? Let me stop my screen share and let's start reading.
I didn't have any time at all.
I know, there's no time.
It's like a flash, like zoom.
Okay. So just a second. All right. By Steve Jenkins. A different way to look at time. You can see all these bees right on the cover. Okay. Here's our introduction page. A second goes by pretty quickly. In fact, several have passed since you started reading this sentence, and they just keep going by. There are 60 seconds in every minute, 3,600 in every hour, and on and on. Most people reading this book will experience more than 2.5 billion seconds in their lifetime.
Only that?
Yeah, but a lot can happen in a second. Some things surprising, even amazing. Some things can take place in a very short time. Other events unfold more slowly. And that's what this book is about. I already answered your question. What was your question, Juan? How many seconds are in an hour? 3,600. We just all learned that. I didn't know that either. So when I'm previewing a text, this is a part I might skim over when I'm looking at it in the library to see if it's something that interests me. All right, so let's find out about a second. In 1 second, the second doesn't relate to any cycle in nature. It's a human invention, so it was invented by a person long, long ago. And the shortest interval of time most of us use in our daily lives. The Babylonians came up with the idea of the second about 4,000 years ago, but they had no way to measure such a short interval of time. So who asked how it was invented? That was Akaya, right? 4,000 years ago by the Babylonians. So here are some things that can happen in a second. A vulture in flight flaps its wings once. So in 1 second, it flaps its wings once. A pygmy shrew's heart beats 14 times. It almost looks like a little rat. Do you see it?
It's actually
Yeah.
like 14 times.
Yeah.
It beats 14 times in 1 second. Wow. Yeah, all of these things happen in just 1 second. A bat can make 200 high-pitched calls in 1 second.
What's that?
So a bat, it almost makes like a shrieking call to its mates. Yeah. It does 200 of those in 1 second. A rattlesnake shakes its tail in warning 60 times. So if you get close to a rattlesnake or someone or something gets close, it will shake it. It can do that 60 times in 1 second.
Yeah, that's insane.
A hummingbird beats its wings 50 times in 1 second.
That's actually kind of true.
A bumblebee, and this one was on the cover, a bumblebee beats its wings 200 times in 1 second.
That's crazy.
A midge, which is a kind of gnat, you know those little gnats that fly around, they're super annoying,
Yes.
beats its wings 1,000 times in 1 second. There's that little gnat.
No,
A woodpecker, raise your hand if you've ever heard a woodpecker, same with my friends at home. A woodpecker hammers a tree trunk with its beak 20 times in 1 second.
That sounds like the fastest flashlight. That's insane.
Good. So as you see, we've learned different things that can happen with animals in 1 second. What was our largest one? My friend, someone can take themselves off mute. Or Miss Caldwell, will you call on one of my friends at home? Are you able to see?
Yes, Aiden.
Aiden, what is one of the animals that had a really large amount of things that happened in 1 second? Do you remember?
The bird? I don't know what
The
name
woodpecker?
is called. No,
Oh,
not
the
woodpecker.
hummingbird,
It was
50
another
beats.
one.
Yeah, the hummingbird, 50 beats. The bat makes 20 high-pitched calls, or 200, not 20, sorry. The gnat beats its wings 1,000 times.
What does that beat his wings?
Let's keep reading about some more things that happen in 1 second.
I like that.
The black mamba slithers a frightening 24 feet, which is 7 meters in 1 second. That's a big snake. A dragonfly in flight cruises 50 feet in 1 second. So now we're kind of dealing with how far something can go in 1 second. It's kind of changed topic, even though we're still talking about a second.
I don't believe this.
A cheetah sprinting flat out, and we know cheetahs are really fast, right?
Yes.
A cheetah sprinting flat out, and a sailfish swimming at top speed both travel 100 feet in 1 second. A very fast human can run 39 feet in 1 second.
Usain Bolt. The flash can run.
A falcon in dive or stoop plunges more than 300 feet in 1 second. A plunge is a dive, yeah, because it's trying to get food, right? A stone dropped by the rest falls 16 feet in 1 second. The Helios II satellite zoomed 43.5 miles. This is the fastest a man-made object has ever traveled. So it traveled 43 miles in 1 second when it was up in space. A commercial jet cruising at an altitude covers about 800 feet in 1 second. The jet-powered thrust, which is like a jet, you can see it right down here. Thrust SSC covered 1,119 feet while setting the land speed record in 1 second.
Okay, that's a missile. I kind of
Pretty crazy. No.
Hold on, Miss Kristen. I have a lot of friends laying down. Let's sit up.
That is so fast.
Oh. If you are laying down, think about, is that something you would do in the classroom? You are like in your classroom at home, so we need to make sure we are sitting up. And this actually leads me to the last part of today's lesson, We went over just the second. That's all we had time for today. Tomorrow it's going to be the minute, the hour, the day. So on your KWL chart, I want you to write down 2 things you've learned today that we read, okay? Or that we discussed. Preferably that we read. So I'm going to share my screen. My friends in the classroom, you guys can get started. 2 things that you learned after we read today. Good. Make sure you're writing this on your chart.
I put an exclamation point as the end of my
Yeah. 2 things you learned about something that can happen in a second. It's okay if you don't remember the exact amount, but 2 things you learned. Yes.
Is it okay if I write that there's sometimes everything
Yes, it can be something from the introduction as well. And Akaya, one of your questions was answered. So that would be a great thing that you write down on your learn. Some other folks in here were also wondering how was time created. So that might be something you want to jot down under the learn section because we did find that out at the beginning of the book.
I have another question about time. So, the first person who made time, how did they know what time it was?
They did say in the book, so they couldn't really measure it. That's a good question. Show me with your fingers how much time you need. 0 minutes or 1 minute. My friends at home, I want to see your 0 or a 1. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Kendrick. Thank you, Valerie and Natalie. You guys have 40 seconds left. This is your exit ticket. And then my friends in the classroom, we're going to do an additional exit ticket. So once you're ready, I want you to pick one of the things you learned, and I want you to write it in the chat, my friends at home. You guys pick out your sticky. Well, finish this first. Did you finish your 2? Good. So once you're ready, you're going to send Miss Codwell or myself a comment in the chat privately, just about one. You're going to pick one of the things you wrote down and do a quick type for us about something you learned from what we read today. Feel free to send it in the chat when you are ready to go. Any questions? No? Okay. Go ahead, my friends. You guys, see if you can remember the 3 things that we do when we look over a book. Remember the 3 things we do? I'll tell you I'll tell you the first letter they start with. See, and then you're gonna write that on your sticky. Okay. Once you've done your 2 learns. Good. And then you're gonna stick it right under here.
We're writing that.
I gave you the first letter of each. What's the P stand for? When we look through a book, we activate our schema.
Great work, Henry. See you at 10:30.
I did say it at the beginning.
Are they allowed to leave?
Yes, once Miss Codwell or I say, great job, you may go.
So we're just